Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do the Term 2 Test 1 Foundation mini test. Okay, we're going to start with question 1. It's about rounding. So question 1a, ask 57.84 round to 1 decimal place. This means we want the answer to keep the 1 digit after decimal. So it's either 57.8 or possibly 57.9. But which one? And to do this, you need to find your 1 decimal place first, which is there. Draw a line. Okay, this is a technique. Numbers that is bigger than 4, round up. Because it is not bigger than 4, so it's not round up. So this we maintain as 8. So therefore, for 1 decimal place answer will be 57.8. Okay. It will be 57.9 if the 4 becomes a 5, because 85, according to maths, the decision is that it is closer to 90, so hence 0.9. Okay, so that's how you do 1 decimal place rounding. And part B, this time we are going to do the other type of rounding called 1 significant figure. And sometimes in school we use 1s.f for short. Okay, so instead, because there's no decimal point, that's why it's useful to be able to round when numbers are not decimal point. Hence, we use significant figure. But you can use this as well for decimal numbers. But decimal places cannot be used to round integers. So, significant in the dictionary means important. Well, in maths, it means that it is non-zero digits. Well, start right from the front. This is not a 0 digit, so therefore it is a significant figure. So 1 significant figure means I'm looking for my first non-zero digit from the start. So similarly, we draw a line. Check the 5. Can it round up? Yes. So it's round up 1. So therefore 1 becomes a 2. Anything behind the line, because it's an integer, you would write the zeros. Otherwise, people would ignore that and think, oh, 157 round to 2? That doesn't make sense, because it's in hundreds. So your answer should still be in hundreds. So therefore the answer is 200. Okay? Part C. This time it is a decimal value with tenths and hundredths, and it's asked to round to 3 significant figure. So again, because it's a significant figure, we start there. Is it a non-zero digit? Yes. And now from then onwards, everything is a significant figure, even there if there's a 0. So 3 significant figure, second significant figure, third significant figure. So that's where I look at the 2 digits. 8 is bigger than 4, so round up 1. So that becomes 468. So there is a chance where students thought, looking at this, I need to put zeros. Now, if you do that, you have given us a 5 significant figure answer, because anything behind a significant figure is a significant figure, even though it's a 0. So, because the exam question said, or the test question said, is 3 significant figure, you mustn't write that. Although 468 is the same as 468.00. But because we are asked to round to threes in figure 1, 2, 3, my answer should only have 3 digits. Okay, so that's how you do question 1. Okay, so on to question 2. This is a fraction of a quantity. There's several ways to do this. So in this video, I'm going to show you one way. Number 2, we are asked to find 3/5 of £20. My first question to any students is that what is off in maths? Well, you must have heard of 3 lots of 5, 2 lots of 10, etc. Off means multiply. So basically I'm doing 3/5 of £20. Well, if I know what 1/5 is, then I will be able to find what 3/5 is. So 1/5 of a value, or half of a number, a third of a number, a quarter of a number, is basically to use the denominator and divide by the denominators. So the denominators is a 5, so 20 share into 5 pieces. Each piece is worth 4. So 1/5 is £4. So 3/5 is basically £4 plus £4 plus £4, which is £12. Or just do 3 times 4, because it's 3 lots of them. Okay, so £12 is the answer for this one. So there are other ways to do this. Again, I will leave that to next video. There's one where you just treat this as a fractions and multiply, cancel out, etc. So if you are interested, you can go on to a website called corebetmaths.com, where you can actually learn multiplying fractions. And to do that, you put it over 1. Okay. So that's question 2. So I'm writing more than you need to when you come to doing the test. This is just to help you understand the process. So number 3, angles. Most students' favorite questions, actually, and quite a high proportion of the students in the lessons did get this right. So here's a straight line, angle y, and we are told that this is 125 degrees. Well, to answer that question, you need to know what is a straight line angle equal to. And most students would have no trouble doing that. It's a semicircle, so therefore it's 180 degrees. So, 1 mark for giving reason. Angles on a straight line add to a 180 degrees. So 1 mark for that. And to find y, if they both add to 180, that means I have to do 180, take away what's there to find the remainder. And to do this, you can do that in your head, it's 55 degrees, otherwise use the column method, etc. So, like that. And then subtract. Okay? So, 55 degrees, and just make sure, just in case you make a mistake, it's an obtuse angle, and hence this must be an acute angle. An acute angle has to be less than 90. So that way you can sort of guess that it's roughly right. Okay. So sometimes the subtractions might end up with 1 accidentally, so that can tell if you're doing it correctly or not. Okay. That's just a way to check your answers. So number 3 is done. So number 4. Question 4 is a ratio problem. We're told that the ratios of cats to dogs is 2 to 5. But this time round, unlike term 1, we are told how many dogs there are, and there are 25 dogs. So if every 2 cats there are 5 dogs, and now there's 25 dogs, that means there are 5 times more. So same proportion would increase on the cat's side. So 2 times 5 is 10. So that means there are 10 cats. And that's the answer for number 4. Number 5 is a multiplications. So there are still lots of people doing it differently, using 3 different methods. So today I'm going to show you the Chinese method again, where majority of the students are going towards this trend of using a Chinese method. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So you need to do a 3 by 2 grid. So and you know you do it right because the numbers need to sit on the grid. So there are 3 numbers, so therefore 3 squares there. And then 35 must be written on the right hand side. The next bit is split each of the boxes like this. It's got to be that way. And now multiply it. So you can put a time sign to remind you you have times first. 7, 3, 21. 4, 3 is 12. 3, 2 is 6. 7, 5, 35. 4, 5 is 20. 5, 2 is 10. And this last bit is just simply to add the values diagonally. And like any adding, you do the units first and then go to the left. So 5, 3 plus 1 is 4, 2, 2, 2, 6, 6, 7, 8. So the answer is 8, 6, 4, 5. But hang on. There's a decimal point. So where should my decimal point be? Well, I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this. I'm going to roughly say that's 20, right? That's roughly 40. Well, 20 times 40, 2 times 4 is 8, and plus the 2 noughts is 800. So that means my answer needs to be near 800. The most appropriate place to put the dot is there. Okay? Another way to do this is there is 1 digit after decimal, so therefore there must be 1 digit after decimal. Okay? So that's question 5, 864.5. And now on to number 6. A new term. This is algebra. Expand. Now, if you don't know what expand is, then it's unlikely to be able to work this out. Expand basically means multiply. Or, in most books, it says multiply out. It's that simple. It's 3 lots of x plus 2. Well, if I have 3 lots of 2, I'll do 2 plus 2 plus 2 and get 6, right? So there are 3 lots of x plus 2. You can have x plus 2, another x plus 2, another x plus 2, and then add them. And in algebra, all classes now should have the ability to collect like terms. There are 3x. There are 6. So therefore, it's 3x plus 6. And that is what it's asking you to do, is to multiply it out so that it's got no bracket. So when you do any question involving expand, the answer should have no brackets. If there is still a bracket, then you must continue to expand. Okay? So if you look at this, instead of doing that, students start to spot there's a pattern. I could have just done 3 times x, 3x, and then 3 times 2, 6. So from year 7 onwards, year 8, year 9, they will start to go using this method. But in year 7, the best approach is to show them this means 3 lots of when it's touching. So then they will understand the fundamental, how this answer come about. And then they can see the pattern and look for a shortcut in the future instead of doing that. Okay? Number 7. Mike, this question is very interesting. A lot of the students did not read the questions carefully. Mike buys 2 books. Now the 2 is written in words, so some students forgotten that there are 2 books that Mike has bought, and this is the important one, costing £4.30 each. A lot of students have eliminated the word each, so they thought the 2 books were £4.30. So actually, it's 2 lots of £4.30, which is £8.60, and so he also bought a pen. So a pen was 50p. A couple of students might have written 50 here, but ideally it is like that, because that's in pounds, and this is now in 50p, and it's written as 0.50. So it's £9.10. That's 1 mark if they found £9.10. But the question said he paid with £10, how much change he will get. So it's 10, take away £9.10. Most people did this in their head, and they wrote 90p, which is fine. Some people put it into a column method, but they forgotten the fact is you have to borrow. So there were mistakes there when they were using the column method. Okay, so 90p is the answer. Okay. So number 8. So it's not really that difficult. I think if the students were working on this during the holiday, they might find this a bit tricky. But I hope this explanation so far makes this test for term 2 quite simple. So number 8. If you don't know the formula for finding area of a triangle is half the base times the height, then you could do it this way. You can imagine you have a rectangle with a base of 5 and width or height is 4. Because you only want this bit, you can first find the area of a rectangle, which many people know this. Length times width is the rectangle area. So you just do 4 times 5. But because that will give me everything in here, I just want half. So I halve it. And that's what this is. So some people will learn from year 6, base times height and half, like that as well. They are the same formula. So 20, half, 10. Although we accept the answer 10, but actually we have to, in the real life, where if we become engineers one day, we do have to write down the units. Centimeter square. The way to remember is 2, is you are dealing with area, which is 2D, so therefore 2. If you are working out volume, it's a 3-dimension, so therefore volume will be in centimeter cubed. Okay? A length, a piece of wire, is 1 dimension, so it's just centimeter 1. But we don't write the indices 1 when we do this, so that's how it's. I teach my students to remember what units to use. Number 9. So I'm going to use this section here. Very simple. 2 to the power of 3. Nearly everybody got this right. 2 multiply itself 3 times. Not 2 times 3. Not 2 plus 2 plus 2. This is where the things goes wrong for some students. They did 2 plus 2 plus 2, even though they wrote times. Most students, sometimes, if they don't think carefully, they will write 6. But it's 2 times 2, 4, then times the 2, that's 8. And 8 is a cube number, okay? So that's a cube number. Number 10, final question. So, this one will need more space. There is an advanced version for this. I'm going to quickly show you the very basic one first, but it takes a lot more writing actually. So number 10, you are asked to find the lowest common multiples of 12 and 15. Well, you need to know what multiples means. Multiples, multiply, is basically the times table. So, let's write down all the 12 times table. So, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, and then 84, etc. Then we can write the 50 times table. And then 45, I'm adding 15 each time. Okay, 60. Oh, something's interesting. I found the first common multiples. And that first common multiples is the lowest common multiples, which is 60. And that is one way of working out LCM. Okay, I'll show you a very fast way of doing it, but not everybody likes this. This is a method used in other countries. You put a division bracket, a bus stop method, but inverted. So, and you put 12 and 15 there, and you will have to find a number that will be able to go into both numbers. So the first number I can think of is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 going to 15, 5 times. What number go into 4 and 5 now? Well, apart from 1, there isn't. So therefore, it's done. And LCM is all those numbers times together. 3 times 4 is 12, 12 times 5, 60. Same answer. Now, you might appreciate this one still than this. However, when the numbers get really large, or if you are asked to find the lowest common multiples of 3 numbers, this is the way forward. Okay? So, and also, this method also helps you find the HCF. Whatever the number is on the edge, that is the highest common factor. Okay? Which is very useful for finding both. So, do have a go at using this method in the future. And that's how you do 10 questions in the Test 1 Foundation. Thank you.